Welcome to Fabulous Studio C.
C.
Studio C. At the Gay Boy Mansion.
Right.
Yes, Studio C. Studio C at the Gay Boy Mansion. You know, I feel like this might be the permanent studio. You know, because it just gives us, you know, again, you can, just feel restful, you know, look, there's the bar in the background. So, you know, if you want a red stripe or Heineken or Glenlivet or Belvedere or Sky or Cuervo.
We just need the boy to come through.
Right.
Where's the boy?
Right. Garcon. Garcon.
Boy, where are you?
Yes. So, you know, we'll take care of that next time. So. But do I want to talk to him? I'm good. I mean, just give it a little adjustment. You know, this is the first time in Studio C, so we're still working the bug.
Studio C was put together by your neighborhood lesbian. Oh my God, it's all about me. I'm working for the camera. I'm in front of the bar. I know where the boys and the booze are. Thank you so much. But let me retract that statement earlier. That was a joke, so I don't want anybody calling in and saying, "Oh my
Epic
God,
Onyx hates lesbians.
Lesbians, no,
he's lesbophonic."
That was a joke.
And it actually did.
It may, yeah. So let me apologize in case anyone is upset because that is not how I know. But
right, pit crew. That's what we need. Oh, pit crew.
Exactly. Hey Thomas, what's going on?
Oh, let's see who we've got. We've got Lola.
Hey Lola, where you been? We haven't seen you.
Know, right?
What's going on, Rick? Where y'all been? Like, we haven't seen y'all. Like, I don't understand. Like, where y'all been? Y'all don't love us anymore. Like, what's going on? I don't.
You know, these people with their lives.
I mean, it's like, how are we not a part of your life? I don't understand. Like, what's on? But anyway, thank you all for tuning in to this is episode 108.
100. We have done this at least 108 times.
108. Episode 108 times to the BGKH Show. And so, yeah, I mean, with Dominion and Epic, and I am Dominion, and I am Epic.
You talk about Mrs. Roper?
Listen, let me just explain to y'all how tough this Mrs. Roper
wait a minute.
With the changing
watch the back. Watch the back.
You know, I'm here for,
come on back.
I'm here for onesies and nap pants. Like I'm here for onesies, nap pants, and yoga pants. Like this has been my COVID wardrobe, and so I am here for it. So listen, I'm definitely.
This comes from a website called Catco. That's all I'm going to say because you know they're not.
Well, no,
they're not sponsoring.
No, they're not sponsoring. But if y'all would like to sponsor us, you all can email us.
Right. Don't think I'm not going to send them a copy. Let me tell you. So first of all, it does fit beautifully.
Okay.
You know, it's a one size fits all, and you know, it truly is a one size fits all. Because you know, sometimes the girls say when they say, yes, well, you know,
I mean, but no.
But you know, it's very lightweight. And it's
you can dress it up and dress it down.
Yeah, you know, so it's I'll post pictures of myself in it, and I have another one too. Grab the other one right there so you see at least the coloration of it. It's giving you very
this one is
Mondrian-esque.
This is the more libertine.
Yes, because she's got
the necklace.
She's got a V in the front, in the neck. So if I had that one on, she'd come down to
her knees would be out.
Yes, my moves would be out and about for the girl.
But she's cute.
So, oh, wait a minute, it's our baby Cortez.
Oh my God!
Traveling across the country.
Hey, Cortez, where are you, Cortez? Where are you? Are you stay? First of all, don't be doing a show for the damn road.
I know, right, bitch? You better be.
And listen, I'm just telling you, I'm putting this in my purse, so just don't get upset when y'all see it again.
Girl, that's already got a tracking chip on damn games. Listen, bitch, I learned my lesson a long time ago. You know, you used to lend a girl a book, And then you go to that bitch house, and the bitch will be like, "Yes, girl, this is one of my favorite books," and I'd be like, "I know, bitch, because it's mine."
Right. My name is
on the spine,
on the inside,
on the page, like on the side of the page. Yep. It would say Brian Alexander Swilling. So you couldn't be like, "Oh no, whose book is this, bitch?"
I was on the inside cover, all across the pages, everything. I was
Oklahoma.
Yay, you're Oklahoma. So are you halfway there technically? But I mean, Oklahoma.
No, halfway.
Wait, he
got to get at least, because he still got to go over the mountains and shit through the desert and all that.
Wait, he took the southern.
He's on I-20. So that's like right through the middle.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, because when I drove, when my mom drove, we drove northern.
It is close to halfway.
Yeah, so you're kind of
by early tomorrow afternoon, he'll be about halfway.
Okay.
But
listen,
getting across the mountains is what's going to be a beast.
It is. Listen, young man, I'm gonna need you while you're driving in these Midwestern states right now to be as careful as you possibly can. Don't make no faces at nobody. Don't listen. Drive your ass.
Girl, fill up. Get your snacks. Eat in the car.
Don't do nothing else. Don't talk to people. Just if they speak, you just hide by. Just keep it moving. Listen, I don't want to. Listen, I have one emergency credit card, and I swear for God, if I have to fly out somewhere, not only I'm kicking your ass too. I can't. I just can't.
Exactly. I keep enough money at these highest prices. If I got to get somewhere, I just can't. When I get there, somebody will get it.
So, but anyway, so yes, the BGKH Show. So, I heard that there was some confusion about the BGKH Show.
Confusion?
Yeah, there was confusion about what it's doing.
Conflama.
It was confusion, conflama, some drama, just all types of stuff. It was all types of stuff. Is she down somewhere?
No, she's fine. She's supposed to be on. She's on mute. Do not disturb anyway. So.
Well, you know
what we're talking about. So. But yeah. So the B is for.
Was it for boots on the ground by the black? That's what they're doing.
Boots on the ground. Black.
For the black. Right, the black. That's for the black. That's what it's going to be.
And then the G is for the gays on the ground. So the gays is supposed to be. Everybody got to be ready.
Listen, I'm trying to listen. It's for the gays, honey. We are accessorizing. The K. Listen, all types of kinky. You can't even. I don't know if you can't see it. You can see the whole rack.
But yes, it's all kinky.
You like my girls? I do. Listen, I feel like of the two, this kind of more so speaks to my spirit. She's kind of posed on the side.
Yeah, she's all sparkly. So each week I'll be presenting more of my girls. Yeah. I'll tell you about the girls in a moment. But you know what that all makes us? You. So how was your week?
So my week was pretty good.
It feels more professional.
I'm good. I like it.
It's like a news, so it's like the
BGKH News.
Right, BGKH.
I mean, we have our banner going across.
Right, we got a scrolling chyron and everything.
This is what we got going
on. It's Kiriko. Say, baby, you my favorite too. You see him? He had his little threesome.
Listen.
He was slobbing down some cutie.
I just want to point y'all over to his OnlyFans page.
Have you check it out?
I have not. I've been over there, but I didn't go. I just saw the previews. I didn't see all that, but all I'm saying is he's giving good previews, baby.
Yes.
He's giving good
This
previews.
Is what you do. You give the girls a pre-show to make them pay for the show. Other girls just be like, here go my OnlyFans page. I'm like, but what am I paying for?
Yes, and he's giving the show. Hey, Coyote, good to see you.
Yes.
So yeah,
Thomas, everybody's here. So
yes,
good. Thank you all for joining us. But
yeah, the week was good. I met with some people in my office and we did a social distancing moment. Mm-hmm. And
a socially distanced cut a bitch moment.
It was really interesting. So I don't know if you all, so all during this time of COVID, like I've been toying with the idea of like doing something different and change my hair color. So I did that. So it's kind of a moody blue. I don't know if y'all seen it.
It is. I was like,
it's real light
different about his hair.
It's real light.
Oh, that's the first sign. The old blue hairs. Ooh, girl.
And I'm going to think of more. Bitch,
Do you need this?
Bitch, I got my own.
Yeah.
I got my. Not that one. I got some.
Okay, listen.
No, wait a minute. You don't have the only male hair collection on the planet now.
Listen, you know the gays steal, honey. The gays steal. Don't try it. Don't try it, Peter.
But so I got to this little event, and this particular person that I'm not really a fan of. As I'm sitting there, you know how you go to a cookout or a family reunion somewhere, you have that auntie or that uncle, somebody in the corner with their legs crossed, they just looking at you, they just staring at you.
And that one toe is just bobbing.
Exactly. And so I was sitting there saying, here we go. She's going to say something I don't think care for. And she looks over at me. This is a coworker.
Oh, okay.
She thinks that she's somebody's boss, but she's the coworker. So let me just be clear about that. She looks over at me and she says, so, hey, did you dye your hair blue? And I'm looking at her like, and I immediately responded and I said, girl, you know I didn't dye my hair blue. You know I'm a natural blue. So what are you talking about, girl? You looking at all that white hair all that time. This is my natural hair color. I didn't know what's going on. But yeah, girl, don't try it. Listen, don't get to it.
Did our barber do it?
No. Actually, no, our barber did not do it. One of our brothers, Ray Al, did. So,
oh, cute.
He did that for me, and he actually has been doing the shit out of Deviant's beard.
Oh, I thought Deviant was doing that on his own.
Yeah, but Deviant has been doing his own as of late. So like the last 2, 3, 4.
Because like all the colors, like
listen,
it's gonna fall out.
But this latest color he has is really cute. It's like the yellow and the orange. It's really cute. But yeah, Deviant's been doing his. He started off doing his, and he picked up what he wanted and how to do it. So he's been doing it. But so shout out to Gray Al for doing that, and thank you so much because it was lovely and it was fun, and I had a good time with it. But baby, that bleaching process. So listen, yes, it's white, but baby, there's a lot more black hair than I thought. So it took a minute for it to go. And I actually liked myself as a blonde. I thought I was really cute. Okay. But anyway, other than that, it's been a good week. It's been a pretty good week. So I can't really complain. How about you?
So Thursday, I went down to Leesburg to see my high school classmate, Reverend Johnson. It's so funny when you know the girls before they became reverends and deacons and stuff. And so we can talk like whatever, but like my friends from college and him, whenever because he doesn't really do this. Reverend Johnson doesn't do this, but some of my other friends was like, they try to get on whatever. I'm like, bitch, you got so drunk that I had to carry you back into the hotel room. Remember that time you threw up on Morris Day? My best friend from college, we went to this place in Atlanta called Mako. You remember that movie
CB3?
CB3 or CB4 with Chris Rock?
Yeah.
And then we told, would you just shut the fuck up and eat your big ass biscuit? There's a place in Atlanta that has big ass biscuits. And so that was like our whole thing. And then we went to this place called Mako that has the big ass margaritas. We were there for New Year's Eve, and he got so fucked up that I had to carry him. He only weighed like 120 pounds. Or at the time he did. And so I carried him back and he was on the elevator. And Morris Day and the time, because they were performing somewhere, gets on the elevator with us, and he was like, I love your music. Luckily, they were coming back from a function. And he did not remember it until like 2 days, because he was fucked up. He was fucked up. We had an incredible New Year's Eve, but he was fucked up all New Year's Day and into part of January the 3rd. And then he was like, and then we were talking about it, he was like, so you going to go apologize to Morris Day? And he was like, why? And I told him what happened. He was bored.
Well, first of all, let me just back up. That's my type of party. If you're going to be drunk for 2 days, that is my type of partying.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
I was like, God,
he's like, no, Morris, like, I mean, did it actually make contact, or like hit the floor, or like?
He like hit the floor. He didn't like projectile.
Oh, I was like, oh my God.
But it was like, if he had been like an inch or two closer, he would have thrown up on it. mortified. But anyway, all right. So I went to see him, and he made his famous Scotch eggs. So a Scotch egg is a hard-boiled egg wrapped in bacon, then covered in seasoned flour and deep fried. That's a sausage. So it's wrapped in, so it's already cooked. So it's already cooked egg that they wrap in uncooked sausage, and then roll the whole thing in seasoned flour, and then you deep fry that girl, or put it in the oven. Okay. And you slice it open, and then we use some of my world famous roasted tomato sauce on top of it.
That actually sounds good.
And we had mimosa.
So basically, sausage, eggs, and I can work with that. I had to get that together. Okay, all right.
And so we did that.
So that was a drive up the first one. That is
the girl keeps talking. He's just, and listen, he's just like Sater. Talk about, I went to see Sater too, but that's a little bit later.
Yeah, I think he's on here. Oh my God.
Right.
Hey, Sater. I got a second-hand or third-hand invitation to come into that. And I was like, oh, okay, that was cute. Okay. But so now I'm like, what? I'm an afterthought. But thank you, Sater. I appreciate it.
So after I left Reverend Johnson's house, I went to this model home store. I walked around and everything was cute. I was driving back and it was raining a little bit. And I'm just driving along. Slam! This bitch rear-ended me. And not in the way that you girls, not in the way that you gays like. You see that red car that's out front? That's my rental.
I was like, what the fuck is this? What is this shit?
And so he get out the car and you listen. He was like 6'2". I could have whooped his ass. I could have whooped his ass. I did. If I had needed to, I could have whooped his ass. But it would not have been easy. Because, he was like 6'2". And like, he was tall and slim. So, I could have swept the leg and I could have got it. But he was very apologetic. So that was what did it. He didn't get out of the car like rah 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 because he knew he was in the wrong. So he wasn't even driving his own car. He was driving his girlfriend's car. And he was on the phone talking about, yeah, they're probably gonna tow the car. He was like very calm for fucking up somebody else's car. Meanwhile, like what's that movie with your girl from with Kathy Bates? Where she was like, but I'm older and have better insurance.
Yeah,
girl, I was like, y'all
figure it out.
Figure all that out. I was like, Geico.
Yeah, y'all figure that shit out. I'm not great.
I need this shit towed, and when can I go pick up my rental car?
Right.
Like, and then he was like, you can just drive it, and like the police officer showed up. He's like, you probably drive it. And then, hey, baby boy, I didn't want to drive it because I was like, the car gets fucked up. He was like, no, you've already claimed it. So even if the car falls apart between here and there, you've already made the claim. So I was like, all right, well, I'll drive there because it was raining and I did not want to wait 3 hours for the fucking tow truck. So I drove that girl away. And I got a picture of his driver's license, the copy of the insurance policy, and the registration. Okay. So, there was different names on every piece of documentation.
Listen,
there was his name, then apparently her name was on the car registration, but that was not the same fucking name that was on the insurance, but the same address was on the registration and the insurance.
That was his driver's license, her car and her name, and probably the insurance and the mama or the dad's name.
It was a woman. So yeah. So, but whatever. I don't care about none of that.
Yeah.
So I got everything that I needed to do. Got my shit. Went up because it was late. So it was like 6 o'clock. So I didn't get my rental car until the next day. But I got my rental car. I was fine. Then yes, Midas. I am completely fine. I didn't wake up. I didn't have no kinds of feelings. I didn't have any pain or none.
Okay.
None whatsoever.
I'm sitting now. I'm looking at you cockeyed. I'm like, first of all, bitch, this is the first time I hear about this shit. You tell me looks like
because
and then now I'm sitting in front of you, fall out the bitch.
This was and tomorrow. It will be a week ago. So I mean, I'm fine. I'm also one of those people that I didn't want to go through the hassle of finding a doctor to certify that I've been in an accident. I don't even have insurance. So I mean, remember, I'm still unemployed. So perhaps if I was employed, It would have been easy for me to go to the doctor and get them certified that I needed a neck brace and all this other shit. And I don't have insurance, so I would have. Yes. See, this is the difference between me and the rest of my family. Because they would have been pulling stunts and shows.
Yeah, I'm not trying to do. Just fix my car. That's all I'm trying with. I'm
And
trying
all
to,
of that.
if I'm hurt, that's something different. But if I'm fine, I don't really care.
Right. And, it would have just been more trouble than it was worth. Even if I eventually got all that money back, right now, I don't have that money. So let's say it costs $500 to get seen and get all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't have the $500 right now
to
do all of this foolishness. And since I really wasn't feeling anything, but I told her, I was like, I said, well, I was like, but not a, but she put it in the record. Okay. So if I do, before the car gets fixed, feel like, I want to do something, then I can. So it's at least in the record. Okay. So we're good. So then Saturday, I went to see Stater, and they have a fabulous little house all the way over.
Oh, do they? They have a fabulous house? Really, Stater? It's a fabulous house? I'm wondering when I'm going to get my invitation. Not the second or third hand invitation, but the actual invitation, but I mean, it's okay.
Girl, when I say these girls live out, they don't live in Manassas. They live in Manassas Park.
I don't know. Fuck that. That sounds even further away.
Here is Manassas. And Manassas Park is over here. Right. So it was like, I was like, okay. But their dogs are so sweet. Now, they are huge.
You met the dogs.
Let me tell you. So first of all, I told you how I have been like toying with this idea of getting a dog.
Really? Why not?
Because I'm only doing it because it's in the pandemic. But as soon as we start,
listen,
trying to board the dog and do all of that, and I'm already allergic, so then I have to get.
You're allergic. So you're allergic to dogs. That's something.
Yes. So I'd have to get Kendra definitely allergic. So I'd have to get like.
So where the hell did that come from?
I've been watching these shows, on Facebook. Now you watch a video, and then the next video is from Dodo. And they'll be like, they'll be like, wow. Little Toto underneath the overpass.
They get you sucked in all the time.
She's just a shivering and everything. And they get Toto back and then they shave her down and she's bald. And first Toto was yapping about to bite you, and then Toto was just like, just protect me and love me. And they get Toto home, and Toto goes from being like, what the fuck is this? To like, Toto won't leave your side, and they be like, well, I'm supposed to get this dog up for adoption, but I don't think I can do it. So I just think I'm going to keep Toto, and Toto's not part of your family. So I know that's what I'm feeling. I'm not lonely like that, but I think it would be nice to have the dog as a companion, but a black people dog. It ain't gonna be no licking me in the face like Michael Sater's dogs are huge. Wolves. They are beautiful wolves. They are dire wolves. But they're these beautiful cream-colored dogs. The tallest one is about this big. And the little one is about that big. So one of them are tiny.
I can't say it's too big because I would love to get a Great Dane. I like a Great Dane and another time.
But they were super sweet. I mean, they almost never brought. It was like from the moment I walked in, they were like, "Hey, new person." They were like protecting me. I don't know what from. I was like, I don't know if Sater abuses them. Yeah, he doesn't. But it was just like new people. Like when I went and took a seat, like they were like lions on either side of me, like this. Like they wouldn't let Sater and Charles, like come close to me for a moment. I mean, they weren't growling or anything, but they were just super sweet. So yeah, so that's been about it. And job search continues. I theoretically have a job, an offer letter coming to me no later than Monday, but we're gonna see what they talk. Because this other company, today, first of all, this is 9 o'clock. We're supposed to have this call. So, I don't have a job, so I don't normally get up until like 9:30. All right. But anyway, so 8:30. So I'm sitting here waiting for this call. It's 9:15. Then she texted me, so I'm running late. It was already first. If you're running late, you knew that at 8:45. Okay. So finally, she calls me at 9:45. But she had emailed me twice and said she was. The second time, I was just waiting because she emailed me the second time. She was like, "Oh well, I don't know how long late I'm gonna be, but I hope you do the same." That's right. So she called me, and let me explain to you how much work I had done to get ready for this. I not only, my resume is already updated, but I created a unique I spent all day yesterday creating a unique 3-page PowerPoint that spoke specifically to my requirements for this job. That was because I thought it was with, I saw a USMS and I'm thinking Marine Corps. And I was like, cute. DOD, but Marine Corps is USMC. And then when I read that girl closer, but that wasn't until I got already applied. Okay. I was like, oh, girl, this is the Marshal Service. And like, girl, this is the police. And so I was like, shh. But I'm still going to go through with it because we're telling you.
Well, why not? Why would you not want to work for the Marshal Service?
I don't want to work for the police in any way, shape, form, or fashion. That's why I'm not really fucking with jobs that for the Justice Department or for the FBI or for the Marshal Service, especially not under this administration. Until we got some clarity on who the next administration is going to be, I'm not comfortable. Yeah. That's what, like people talking the other day, I was like, girl, I couldn't work for ICE or CBP. I was like, shit, they ain't literally giving those hysterectomies. Shit, so no. I mean, that's my own thing, You want to do it, that's fine. But anyway, so then she get on the phone and we already knew. Let me tell you how we knew it was some bullshit. First question, she apologized or whatever. She was like, all right, so let's talk salary, which I automatically knew meant that she wasn't going to be able to meet. So I told her how much I was making at United Airlines, which is here. Right. United Airlines is here. Let's just be clear. Mm-hmm. We already knew that. Right. Where I was at the Air Force was here. So I told her we need to be at least here. She was like, oh no, the max we can pay is this. And I was like, oh, okay. And she's like, okay, well, we'll talk later. We didn't talk about the job at all. Because I was like, I'm not even, because what she was waiting for me to say is, oh, okay, well, we can still talk. I was like, no, bitch, that's $30,000 less than, actually, it's $80,000 less than I was making in March, when it was at least $30,000 than I was making a year ago this time. So it's like, no, bitch. I mean, no, I will just keep collecting this unemployment until the right thing comes along. Now, I mean, if she had said, well, our star is here, which is like, $5,000 less or whatever, then I'd have been like, okay, whatever, I need a job to make it work. But, you talking about yeah, girl, no, that was going to happen. Now, the job that I got the offer letter for, it's probably going to be like about here. But he likes, that's because that's the maximum that this position pays, whatever. Because I knew it's like a mid-level position, it's not the senior position that I'm used to. However, they already said that because of my credentials and because I would be helping them out, that, and I already have a secret, that they would sponsor me for a top secret. Okay. And that's going to push me here and up here. Okay. So it's worth it in the short term. When we're at home, all that money that I would have needed all this money to do all them trips, but none of them trips happening. So, I can afford to go here because in 7-8 months, I'm going to get that top secret clearance and okay. So, anyway, so that was my week. So,
it was, we had some weeks. That's what we had. It was so, before we get started, I want to say happy birthday. Woo! So, and again, thank y'all so much. We always say this at the end, but I'm gonna say this at the beginning. Thank y'all so much for tuning in with us. Y'all can do anything else on Wednesday night, but we're glad to spend our Wednesday nights with you and just laugh and joke with everyone. I'm just happy to see everyone. So thank you all for being here. So, but let's jump right into this week and what we have going on and what actually has happened in this week. So we are going.
Before we get started, we got to talk. We got to talk about.
Well, listen. My Panther started off.
Oh, right.
I gotta be black.
Right. I'm fine with being the Black Panther. So today we found out that one officer. So this is relating to the Breonna Taylor case. So in the Breonna Taylor case, one officer was charged with endangering neighbors. He was indicted on 3 counts of wanton endangerment for shooting into another apartment. Breonna Taylor wasn't even mentioned in the indictment or in the charging material.
It was for the next door neighbor's son, the mother. Sorry, it was a child, the mother, and the uncle.
Something about that. But anyway, after that initial, the two officers who actually shot Breonna Taylor were not charged. So the person that was charged wasn't even the person that fired shots at Breonna Taylor. They shot wildly, which is another thing. So listen, all right, so I can go on. I've been watching other ones, and like these girls get all these trainings, but they just wildly shooting at people such that they're shooting people in other apartments. So anyway, I saw so much about it, and I just had to log off because it was just vexing my spirit.
And you have, and correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm not even in law enforcement, but there is a shooting test that you need to, a marksman test that you need to actually pass.
Yes.
So you know good and goddamn well that you should be able to shoot at a certain level and know where the hell you're shooting. Which I just don't get. This whole thing is very disheartening for me. And even the stories that I've seen and things having just announced and pictures, and I just felt these people's pain, and I'm feeling pain.
Yes.
And I'm not even saying these people. I'm saying the people who are putting one and one together to get two, which is you can just go ahead and shoot anybody out here that's black and get away with it. And I'm like nobody. I'm nothing. I don't even matter. I'm not even a human being. I'm just here. Like
right.
what the fuck? And it's bringing it in my lap. It's bringing it in my face every time I sit and look at myself and see my brown skin. I look in the mirror and I see my brown face. I look at driving in my car and how someone can see this brown person driving a car and just do whatever. It is so disheartening. It's very sad. It's very upsetting. Everything about this is upsetting. And I found myself the other day pulling away from the news about the read of it.
Yeah.
And I'm finding myself pulling away from the news because it's upsetting.
I mean, we already knew if all four officers had been indicted on charges of murder or even manslaughter, they wouldn't have been boarding up the whole fucking city. They had the whole city boarded up starting on Monday evening. So that lets you know everything that you needed to know. They already knew that people were going to be upset with the verdict. So we already knew that was going to be the bullshit. But the solution doesn't change.
And
that coon ass prosecutor,
that motherfucker right there, because his comments of, well, as a black person, I've been profiled and I've been
do better than
stopped, and I'm just, well, bitch, if this is happening,
if you're the fucking district attorney,
bitch, do something, because it doesn't make any sense that if you honestly been pulled over because of the color of your skin, and you know that feeling of sitting there in your car with your hands on your steering wheel, sitting there looking at that person saying, answering their questions as short and curt as possible, but giving them all the information you can. Yes, no, this is what it is, this is what it isn't. And trying to stay fucking alive just from this stop. Then, bitch, I don't understand how you can't come up with I don't understand how you just can't come up with something that would give not even retribution, but just some justice, which is what we've been screaming forever.
Yes.
And you just can't. And I tried to be so objective with these points and how it was not really you just discounted her life all the way around. Like the wanton shooting and everything, you just completely discounted her. Like you said, her name wasn't even mentioned in the indictment. You discounted her life all the way around. Like there's where, why? She just
again, I posted, normally I retweet or post about my kink life or whatever, but this was before this came out. This was sometime yesterday. I hadn't even known about when we tell people to vote, it's, voting is not the end all be all solution at all. You have to get out into the community. If there are things that are important to you, then you need to get out and volunteer. You need to protest. You need to make your voice heard. And if you are going to vote, you can only vote or be interested in voting once every 4 years. Right. The district attorney is elected.
Yes, absolutely.
The sheriff is elected. Absolutely. The city council is elected. The mayor is elected. The governor, your state senators are all elected. Those people have much more of a direct effect and impact on your life on a day-to-day basis than the president of the United States. And those elections don't always happen every 4 years. So I'm not going to tell you what to do. Listen, if you feel like you
take your motherfucking monkey ass out and go press the goddamn button at the damn left and pull the lever and vote.
No, I'm talking about right now. If you have
that part
that you need to get out, I feel your pain. It's all I'm going to say about it.
It's very, very
every time this happens, I feel like the same way that I felt with Trayvon Martin.
And you know what keeps coming to my mind at this particular point? Wow, the United States of America is the only place that I have lived in, 4 years, American citizen. But I swear, it makes me think every time this stuff happens, shit like this happens, there's no justice. It makes me think, I'm not going to do this. Yeah, think about residency somewhere else, in another country, another place, another way feel like I would be treated fairly and with justice, and just treated as a human. And I've never been to Africa, but I swear I remember talking about hearing about this whole term of government people way that people are doing, and I'm sitting there saying to myself, this might be an option, this might be an option. So, I don't know. There's no sound, what's going on?
Can you guys hear us? Yes, you're coming through. Yeah, it's coming through. Testing. You should be able to talk louder.
I don't know. I'm just, it makes me, it's cutting out. It's very disheartening, but it makes me think now, there are other places on this planet that I feel like I would be a little bit more welcome.
Yeah.
And, it's the whole idea of a mass exodus from the States into other places, to go and live and to live out my life. It makes you think. It just makes you think. So I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to make an effort to speak louder. It's one of the things we'll have to do next week is to get one of these mics to condenser mic.
Oh, well. Yeah. We're so anyway. So we apologize for the inconsistent sounds, and it might be going up and going down. Part of that might be because of the new setup.
But not really, because this mic is about the same distance.
Yeah, it's about the same distance. Actually,
it's my janky ass computer.
I don't know. We'll figure it out, but we'll make it. We'll figure it out. Just keep letting us know if there's something that you can't hear. If there's something that comes across mumbled or whatever,
just let us know, and we'll try to figure it out. Sorry. So yeah, I switched the microphone to the microphone that comes with the webcam. So maybe that'll be a little bit better. So hopefully that's a little bit better, and you all can hear us. So if you can't, just let us know, and we can still try to make some adjustments.
Yes.
So, but good to see. I see Mac has checked in. Hey Mac, how are you? Haven't seen you in a minute. Looking forward to hanging out with you and the rest of the Mac Pack. Yeah. Anyway, so we have some other stuff here to talk about.
Some more, little bit more positive news.
So, according to autostraddle.com, Punky Johnson is going to be the first out Black lesbian to join Saturday Night Live's cast.
Yeah.
This season of SNL is they're talking about is going to be really about who's all gay here, and so Punky Johnson will be the first out Black lesbian in the show's 46-year history. Now, you might know her at Punky from the Black Lady Sketch Show, and it was the skit that was called Dance Biter, and so she was the one that was imitating the main character's dancing. So the one with the long braids, she was.
Okay.
Yeah. So
okay,
she was. So that was her in
that
skit show. So she is. She kills. Oh Lord have mercy. She's not the first lesbian to be on Saturday Night Live. Denitra Vance was one of his first lesbians.
Black lesbian.
I'm sorry, first Black lesbian, and that was in 1985. Terry Sweeney was the first openly gay male cast member of SNL as well. So Punky Johnson is also going to be adding her name to the small cohort of the 22 cast members that have worked over the course of the comedy's 46 years. And that group includes only 7 Black women. So Yvonne Hudson, Denitra Vance, Ellen Claiborne, Maya Rudolph, Leslie Jones, Sashir Zamita, and Ego Nwodem, who actually was she was in the background person who actually got a promotion to be a full-time cast member.
Oh, so yeah, they call them like featured players.
Yeah, like featured. So
and then those are like the that's where you only you're not a main title bitch.
You're just in the background doing
right. They're like, and all these other hoes, and they scroll their name through
and you just want a hose in the background. So so that hoe has been moved from the background into the main ensemble. So
good for them.
Good for them about that. So she, and again, just so you know, she's a self-proclaimed brutally honest Southern lesbian. So be on the lookout for Punky Johnson. So with SNL. So
right. So several LAPD officers have been charged with falsifying gang records, and this could disrupt over 750 criminal cases. So Braxton Shaw, Michael Koblenz, and Nicholas Martin were charged in July with 1 count each of conspiracy to obstruct justice and multiple counts of filing a false police report and preparing false documentary evidence. They were assigned to LAPD's Metropolitan Division, where they allegedly falsified field interview cards and misidentified dozens of people who were stopped by the officers as gang members. Prosecutor says that some of the false information written in the cards was used to wrongly enter people into the gang's database. And according to District Attorney Jack Lacey, there could be some cases out there where they were wrongful convictions. When you're charged with a crime like that, where it's alleged that you lied, your credibility becomes an issue. And every case you touch in terms of a witness now has to be reviewed. This is, again, when we talk about, the abolition of the police force and starting over, these were allegedly gang members. Some probably were.
Yeah.
But now they might get out of jail on a technicality. These are people who literally were in your neighborhoods, not my neighborhood. Well, maybe. They're these people in our neighborhoods. Literally committing rape, robbery, murders. There were drugs and all this other stuff. Yeah. And instead of doing the job that they were actually there to do, which is keep people like that off of the street for things that they actually did, by falsifying these records, those people could potentially get out of jail and do other things,
do more harm
until they get caught again.
Absolutely.
So when we talk about the abolition of the police force, it's not that we don't need security forces to do the actual job, but
We need people who will actually do the job that they're paid to do, which is to protect and serve, and only that. They're not there to be counselors. They're not mental health professionals. Their word should be above reproach, but no more above reproach than the garbage man. I mean, if the garbage man says, I took your trash out on Thursday, I mean, you should be able to believe that too, just as much as a police. And there should be checks and balances so that when shit go wrong, they're held to an accountability standard. So, anyway.
We shall see.
We shall see. That's why I said this is a week of bullshit and fuckery on the BGKH.
Yeah, and they're going to be arraigned on October 13th, so we'll find out how that goes as well. But on to some
fuckery,
some more fuckery. So a Florida woman steals a sex toy and uses it in the store. This Florida woman stole a sex toy, then took off all her clothes and started using it while in the store, according to the Fort Pierce Police Department. Records showed that employees at the store, which was not identified in an arrest report, called police August 31st to report that the 36-year-old Teresa Stanley had stolen a pink sex toy from a shelf, removed it from the packaging, took off her pants, and began using it. So police said that by the time they arrived, Stanley was completely nude and had moved to the stockroom area to continue using the item. She stopped using the item and dropped it on the ground when an officer walked in the room, according to the affidavit. Records show the value of the stolen item was $45.98. She was arrested on charges of indecent exposure and larceny. And I'm trying to figure out, what pink toy did you have for $45.98? Because it's not the Lush. That's $99. That's the pink one.
I'm sure it was just some random dildo.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe. So we'll see. But I hope you finished, and
so I hope she gets the help that she needs, because clearly that was,
Well, and I hope you also get the help that you need to maybe finish.
Well, she'll be in prison. There'll be a lot of other women that can help.
I'm sure they will. Okay. All
right. So Cheer star Jerry Harris was arrested on federal child pornography charges. He's 21 years old. He was arrested last Thursday. He lives in Naperville. He was arrested for allegedly enticing an underage boy to produce sexually explicit videos and photos of himself. According to a statement, Harris contacted the underage boy on a social media application and repeatedly enticed him to produce sexually explicit videos and photographs of himself and send them to Harris. The minor victim informed Harris during their initial encounter that he was 13 years old. The complaint alleges Harris told the boy told his mother that in a bathroom at a cheerleading competition, Harris solicited oral sex from him. The complaint also accuses Harris of admitting to FBI police of soliciting and receiving child pornography on Snapchat from at least between 10 to 15 other individuals he knew were minors, and the FBI conducted a raid at his house, at his place of business, or his residence last week.
At his home last week, yeah. So I don't know if
I've never heard of this dude.
So
I've not heard of Cheers. So.
It's the documentary that's on Netflix, and I'll tell you exactly who he is. On Netflix, on that documentary, he is one of the 2 or 3 black males that are on the team.
Of course.
And he is the thickest one of them all.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I don't know what else to say. That's you can't miss him. You cannot.
Yeah.
You cannot miss him. But so a Texas cardiologist said his daughter was attacked by BLM in Baltimore. Twitter exploded, but again, it tells a different story. So picture it.
Sicily.
A Sunday afternoon, a Texas cardiologist wrote on Twitter that his daughter in Baltimore had been attacked by BLM, or Black Lives Matter activists, and that city police refused to do anything because of the suspects were black. They in their post, which is, and I quote, "Is this the America we want?" which is what he tweeted. Nearly 50,000 people uncritically retweeted or liked the post. But 2 different Twitter accounts with a close ear to the police scanner found what appeared to be the incident in question. It didn't involve activists, but rather squeegee kids. So when questions were raised, then the cardiologist, whose name is Andrea Natal, locked down his account and eventually deleted it. He since apologized, saying he overreacted out of concern for his daughter and that his words were misinterpreted. But the incident didn't quite go down as Natal described it. It was complex, but I don't necessarily say it was a hoax. But here's the thing. So for any of you that grew up in a major city, let's go through this. Baltimore police released body camera footage of the encounter to the Baltimore Sun.
Interesting how they always have body camera footage when they want to have it. And, you know, the camera isn't off, the camera isn't fuzzy, it's not broken. You know, interesting how that happens.
So with this body camera footage of the encounter, it showed a couple explaining to an officer that they declined to have their windshield washed. A male tells the officer that he jumped out of the car and that 3 squeegee washers approached and surrounded him. I said, I will defend myself. I do have a knife. One of the squeegee washers said, I have a knife too. The man tells the officer. So the couple tells the officer that the squeegee washers then started throwing rocks at them. The man asks, what can be done about the squeegee kids? Now, if any of you have lived in a major city, you know the kids are going to walk up to you, and even adults will walk up to you and try to wash your windows, and it's like, no, man, I don't want you, no, don't spray that stuff on my car. So I get it. These kids are out there trying to hustle, they're trying to make their money, and from what I understand, the way you just approach these kids, like, I will defend myself. Man, they're trying to wash the window.
First of all, you're in a car.
Yeah, they're trying to wash the window.
Just roll up your fucking window, and as soon as you can, keep it moving. But no, you wanted to get rah-rah because you're white, and they're young and black.
And I guess you felt...
And y'all from Texas.
Right.
And so you thought you could just talk to these Negroes in a black city any old kind of way. And you was like, I got a knife. Was like, bitch, I got a knife too.
Exactly. So the police Twitter account relayed scanner radio information as the incident was happening Sunday afternoon, saying that a woman had called police to report that squeegee kids were throwing rocks at her car at Lombard and President Streets in Baltimore. Once Natal's tweet went viral, another Twitter user who archived scanner traffic linked the squeegee incident to Natal's claim and posted a 1-minute audio clip. So this is the power of information. This person just heard key things, which was squeegee kids throwing rocks at her car, and then linked it to this actual event.
Right. And so suddenly these kids are Black Lives Matter activists.
Exactly. So listen, be careful with your social media and what you put out there.
That was part of what I posted. I was like, listen,
be careful with how you put stuff.
Twitter and Facebook are not sources of information.
No.
Find a reputable source of information.
Indeed.
Question any opinion that only confirms your own opinion about a subject. So
absolutely.
If someone says, oh, even for white people, it's like, oh, that white guy did this. And before you say,
Lola said, I ain't never seen no damn rocks thrown at that intersection ever. Listen.
Right. Where do they get rocks from?
And Lola, this is why I bring it up.
We're in some country ass town in Texas. Where are rocks in the middle of, do you think these kids walk around with rocks in their pockets?
This is why I bring this up, because this intersection was probably a very traveled intersection. And I just, listen, these kids were out there trying to make some money, and all you had to do was say no. As a matter of fact, I'd say you had to give them any money, but I'm going to tell you, if you gave them $1 to them to go away, they'll go away. Gave them some coins to them to go away. But whatever.
Or just roll up your fucking window and just say no. Moving.
And that's it. But whatever.
Just fucking keep it moving. You know, everything don't call for a confrontation. This is the problem. This is the problem when you don't respect someone's humanity.
Right.
Because
you jumped out the car immediately.
Right. Thinking that you was going to take on these kids because they're young. It's like, girl, what? I mean, you escalated this confrontation
to a level that didn't even have to go to.
No. And then you lied on top of it. If you had just said, you know, these squeegee kids were a little aggressive and whatever, I mean, that still might have come off a little whatever, but then it's okay. But to say that these were Black Lives Matter activists who threatened you, like, no, girl, they threatened to wash your car.
That's what they threatened.
And you said you had a knife, which could be perceived as you got out of the car and said that you had a knife,
yes,
which could be perceived as a threat.
Yes, indeed.
They didn't know you.
Yes.
They don't know you're just some crazy white guy who got out of the car. And I'm sure he wasn't just like, hey, kids, you know, you got out of the car. We know you was all rah-rah and tooted up. You tooted up.
He might have been.
You know, and so, yeah, girl, bye. All right, so next story. Eddie Murphy wins his first Emmy Award for Saturday Night Live. So, he won his first primetime Emmy on Sunday in the guest actor category series for guest hosting the show whenever he did before. So good for him. So he reprised his role as Gumby, Buckwheat, and Mr. Robinson And this was a show where he brought out Tracy Morgan, Chris Rock, and Kenan Thompson during his monologue.
4 decades later. Congratulations.
Yeah, good for him.
Congratulations. As well as from Drag Race, like the Drag Race divas are all over the place. This year actually marked the first time that Raven she was from season 2, I believe.
Yeah.
His name is David Petrushkin. He took home an Emmy as well. And he took home an Emmy for outstanding makeup for a multi-camera series. And he is also now the person that's doing RuPaul's makeup. And so it was his first Emmy. So congratulations to him as well. So next, we had a little
some bullshit.
Yeah, we had another little story about Lori. So Lori Loughlin, I don't know if you remember her. She's the woman who
Aunt so-and-so from
Full House. Okay, she was also the woman who tried to, with the college SAT scandal with her daughters. Okay, so here's the thing. She petitioned.
She was convicted.
And she petitioned the court.
Got a 2-month sentence.
She petitioned the court to turn herself into her sentence on to start her sentence on November 19th to a federal corrections center that is closer to her home. Let me be clear. Closer to her home. She lives in a $9.5 million Hidden Hills farmhouse. This is also the place that Abby Lee Miller served her time as well.
But here's the thing. It's not that she's at this facility. It's that she got to choose what facility. First of all, it was bullshit that she only got 2 months.
Well,
when there is a black woman who was serving a 5-year sentence in Texas for
changing zip codes.
Right.
Yes.
What was considered fraud by saying she lived in a school district that she didn't, so that her child could go to a better school.
Right.
She got 5 years. Lori Loughlin and her husband, Massimo Giuliani.
Yeah, they were sentenced to, in addition to her 2-month prison term, she got a $150,000 fine along with 100 hours of community service and 2 years of supervised release. Now, her husband, Massimo Giannulli, was given 5 months in prison, a $250,000 fine, and 250 hours of community service, along with 2 years of supervised release as well. Now, they've been ordered to surrender, like I said, by November 19th, and they're trying to stagger their prison sentences as they don't want to have any overlap and leave their girls on their own. They're college-age girls.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Remember the girls that they was trying to falsify in the college?
So
these hoes are
they're
grown.
18. They're
like both
17,
at least 18. And they live in a $9.5 million quote-unquote farmhouse.
Now, again, ultimately, the Bureau of Prisons is going to have to give the final approval. But here's the thing. The placement looks promising because according to Us Weekly, as a federal prison records show, she already has a registration number already assigned to her at that prison. I'm just saying. Fuckery and bullshit.
All right, so Rihanna apparently recruited Drag Race All-Stars winner Shea Coulee and Drag Race season 12. Was that 12?
Yes.
Winner Jada for the Savage by Fenty show Volume 2. So that's going to be
on Amazon Prime on October 2nd.
Yes.
Yeah.
So other special guests will include Lizzo, Willow Smith, Christian Combs, Big Sean, Normani, Rico Nasty, fuck that is, Sheikah, Irina Shayk, Paris Hilton, Demi Moore, Cara Delevingne, Bella Hadid, Erica Jane, Laurel Harrier, Paloma Elsesser, and Miss Fifth Avenue.
I don't know, but they're also going to have some performances as well by LMI, Rosalia, Travis Scott, Bad Bunny, Miguel, Mustard, and Roddy Ricch. Who all these people are, I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm getting to that age.
But,
I don't know who these people are. Who are all these young people? I don't know what the young people are listening to these days. That's
where we are. So again, with the fuckery and the bullshit. So Trump, he tells his supporters at a campaign in a North Carolina rally, he says, if I lose to him, talking about Joe Biden, I don't know what I'm going to do. I will never speak to you again. I'm going to start this article right here and just say, please promise Please promise.
I mean, how can
Make
he?
that
I mean, we
promise.
already know his promises ain't worth shit. So,
And just please, just
the
don't come
kiki
back.
was Joe Biden trolled the president by releasing a 10-second ad shortly after Trump delivered his remarks approving the message.
And it was so shady.
It was
so shady, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed every minute of it. So I enjoyed
So
every minute.
here goes some bullshit. All right. So Offset said Cardi B was an embarrassment to him after she dropped WAP and wanted her to tone down the lyrics.
Really Offset?
First of all, one, you knew who Belcalis, Bacardi, Hennessy, no, her sister's name is Hennessy,
yes.
Carolina. What you knew who Cardi B was when you met her.
Belcalis, I don't know her last name right now.
You knew who she was when you met her. Also, I've seen other people talk about some of his lyrics, so it's not as if he is, he ain't the Mr. Rogers
of Migos.
hip-hop.
Listen, just like most, I'm not gonna say most, just like many male hip hop artists, the misogyny that goes on and the shit that comes out of your mouth.
Yeah, so get the fuck on with that.
Go on with that shit.
And Cardi B said that it had nothing to do with cheating, that she was just tired of arguing with Offset. And I'm just like, girl, listen, more power to you. You are a absolutely gorgeous woman. There are men out here who would give their eye teeth just to smell your farts. So,
I cannot.
Am I lying now?
Yeah, there are. And listen, let me be clear. She is built like one old brick shit house. And I am. And she has a personality.
Did you see that picture of Megan on Time, the cover of Time?
No.
Yeah, you got to look that up.
We'll pull that up in a second.
Yes. She slayed it.
Okay. So keeping in talking about our women here. So rapper Eve, she admits that her actions led to her sitcom being canceled. I don't know if you remember, but Eve had a show. This was several years ago. It was from 2003 to 2006, and it was eponymous. It was called Eve. She basically talked about on it her actions and how she struggled to actually make and keep with the demands of the show's schedule. So she said she was still trying to party, she was still trying to hang out, but she also said she couldn't make it to a 9 o'clock cast reading the next morning. And so she said that her actions actually, she feels, affected why the show was canceled, because the show ran for 3 years. Yeah. And then it was canceled. So she just, her advice to anyone was like, don't ever do that. And I'm like, okay, so Eve, you're showing some growth. And I mean, it's 14 years later, but you're showing some growth. So good for you. Good for you.
I mean, I guess, does someone need to tell you that, don't fuck with your money? Like if the girls had said, do you really need someone to tell you? If someone says to you, hey girl, let's go out tonight, and you like, no girl, my name is on a fucking TV show and I have a 9 o'clock read. So if we do go out, we got to be in by 12:30, 1 o'clock at the latest.
How about 11:30?
Right.
Because I'm sure that she made a nice little cute coin. So listen, matter of fact, we can do when the season's over, we can hang out.
Right, we can party and bullshit
when
we're not taping.
This purse right here that I'm about to get, this bag of money,
right, you are a rapper. You are 22 years old, and they built a whole show around your ass.
I'm right here.
So I mean, I'm glad she learned it, but I hope that other people learn from her foolishness. And if you get a break, let's not fuck it up. All right, so our man of the moment, Jonathan Majors, who is the star of HBO's Lovecraft Country, is going to be on the cover of October GQ. In it, Majors discusses his dedicated and deeply spiritual journey into acting, which has included Lovecraft, Spike Lee's Defy Bloods, and the upcoming The Harder They Fall alongside Idris Elba. Yeah. So good for him.
Yeah, I'm very happy for him. So pictures, he looks great in the pictures.
Yeah.
The cover shot was actually good. He's in this like blue outfit. He has this black outfit on, which actually I like. The jacket, it was like this cinched waist and the little glasses and nice boots though. So good for you, Jonathan. But I'm trying to figure out, when are people going to get our girl Journey? When I say Journey has been acting her ass off in this show, I mean, need y'all to just bring Journey out of the back.
Is it time to talk? Can we just go ahead and talk about Lovecraft?
Let's hold it because we got a couple more little things we can talk about.
Okay.
So Candace Owens, our resident, I'm not gonna call her resident coon. I'm not gonna call her that.
She is the resident coon. Fuck her.
Okay, well I'm gonna call her resident coon.
Listen, I'm at this point I'm calling a spade a spade. She's a coon. Your Louisville prosecutor's a coon. Yeah. He's a coon, they're a coon, here a coon, there a coon. You better not be a coon too.
Listen, this Republican nuisance Candace Owens claimed on Saturday that around 1,000 people have written to her alleging that copies of her book, Blackout, are getting stomped on by Amazon employees before they're shipped out.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
I just don't believe it.
I just don't believe it that people will risk their job. Because that shit can be traced back. I mean,
yes, it can.
You know, the way that Amazon is set up.
Yes, it.
I mean, it ain't just random. It's like, you know, Epic, here's your assignment. You're going to grab 50 copies of this book and you're going to pack it up and then it's going to be ready to go. So you're the only person that touches that book before it gets in the thing. And so why would you do all of that knowing that shit could be traced back to you? It did not happen. It absolutely did not happen.
Well, Amazon didn't respond immediately, but it's funny because it was this reporter on Love B. Scott, and B. Scott said that they highly doubt. He said that we highly doubt that there's a coordinated effort between Amazon employees across all the warehouses to make sure to stomp on Candace Owens' book. And with that being said, we doubt all 1,000 of the people Candace says have written her all live near the same Amazon warehouse with the.
That's exactly. Amazon has
like it just
warehouses
doesn't make sense
all over the country.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense.
Every person that orders the book is not all coming from this central spot in Oklahoma. If you live over here, you're gonna get it from a depot over here.
Listen, and she had
right, and so they all got a Discord chat where they all like, if this bitch book come through, make sure you stomp on it. Or some other people said that they had rubbed Vaseline on the cover of all things.
Listen,
okay,
you had 90,000 copies and 1,000 of them were damaged. Listen, percentage-wise, girl, you're doing actually really good. You're doing very well with 90,000 copies. Hopefully, it should have been 0. Ideally, but you're doing good for 1,000 copies.
The girls, the white girls get into her because she gets to say all of the shit about black people that they would get called out for saying, and so it's apparently cool when it comes out of her mouth.
Well,
how about go ahead, girl? If that's the lane that you want to live in, go ahead. But there will come a day you will have your OJ comeuppance. When you find out that, hanging around with white people, you're going to do something, maybe not kill a bunch of people, but you're going to do something.
Who knows? No. Who knows? I don't know. I mean, I'm not wishing that on her or nothing, but who knows?
But one day you're going to do something that is going to turn all of these white people that are in your corner against you.
I feel the same way about Herschel Walker's son. Because he is completely disillusioned.
And he's a homosexual too. Allegedly. I mean, is he out?
Beverly Leslie is a homosexual.
What did you say?
Beverly Leslie is a homosexual. That's all I'm saying.
So, yeah, she can go with those fucked up edges and sit right next to Daniel Cameron with that bumpy ass, fucked up ass, razor bump neck of his. I'm like, girl, this is how you know you don't hang around enough black people, because no one who is black, if your barber was black, listen, because some people bump up. Some people
I am that person.
Let's just be clear.
Bitch, I am
it's
that
not
person.
that you bump up.
I am that person.
It's that whoever is in your life lets you get on TV, on national TV at the Republican convention, and on this thing with that fucked up ass neck game. That tells you that the people in your life don't care about you
at all.
That would be like if you were white, like, some girl let you get out on TV with some fucked up ass dye job or something. You're like, no, girl, no. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take you to my dyed girl because she knows what the fuck she's doing. That bumpy, all that bumps and shit on your neck, that tells you that you're around people that don't know what the fuck they're doing and don't care about you.
Yeah.
And you don't have no black people in your life because not even your mama told you, like, girl.
Don't do that.
Right.
But whatever.
But fuck you. So, you know, if that's the way you act, then most of the black people you probably aren't fucking with you either. So
these are the black people that he fucks with.
Right.
These two people right here.
No, girl, they too black. They too ethnic.
Yeah, that's true.
They're way too ethnic for
That's
him.
true. He does. Sorry, girls.
So, a vampire cheese grater. All right, so Zendaya makes Emmy history on Sunday, becoming the youngest woman to receive a Best Actress in a Drama Series at the Emmys. So she was 24 years old, and she picked up the prize for her portrayal of teen drug addict Rue on HBO's Euphoria. So good for her.
Yeah, I haven't seen the show, but I've heard great things.
Me either.
About it.
Yeah, I've heard. Yeah.
I've heard really great things. So listen, for all of your Prince fans, all of my Prince fans out there, listen. There is going to be the Sign of the Times, a super deluxe edition has been announced. The iconic double album Sign of the Times is getting a massive super deluxe edition reissue. What's going to happen is the album's original tracks have been remastered for the release, and it's going to include over 60 previously unreleased tracks from the Purple One's vault and 2 complete concert recordings, which is a full audio version of Prince's 1987 concert in Stadium Galgenwaard in the Netherlands, and a DVD of the New Year's Eve benefit concert that he played at Paisley Park on December 31st, 1987, which also served as his final performance behind Sign of the Times. And the New Year's Eve show concludes with Prince on stage collaborating with the one and only Miles Davis, a performance of It's Gonna Be a Beautiful Night, among the other previously released tracks in collaboration with Davis. So, listen.
Keep going. We're having a technical difficulty.
That's all right, because we're gonna move through it. We're gonna get through it, and we're gonna get right onto some good stuff. Listen, we were talking about her earlier, and we were talking about the shooting and the conviction or the lack of conviction for the 3 men that were involved in the Breonna Taylor shooting and her death. But Regina King, she honored Breonna Taylor by wearing a statement-making t-shirt or statement-making t-shirt at the Emmys. So she used the fashion to bring light to the Black Lives Matter movement. And instead of wearing a glamorous gown or comfortable jeans, she honored Breonna Taylor by wearing a Phenomenal Woman t-shirt emblazoned with Taylor's face across the front to the virtual award show. And across the top of the shirt read the phrase, "Say her name" in all capital letters.
Yes.
So listen. I love Regina King. I think she is doing
It's
her
so
thing.
funny to me that every time I see Regina King, that's Lil Brenda.
Listen, Lil Brenda
Not only has grown up, but who knew? Because she was a terrible actress.
Listen,
227.
Lil Brenda done grown up, and Lil
horrible.
Brenda done got that. Her body is amazing. Yes. Have you seen her guns and have you seen her gams? Like there's a picture of her in the Emmy dress that she was going to wear. It's this blue gown. It's real dramatic. It's got like a high top and up to the top. It's real dramatic. It's real gay. Cool gay. Yeah.
Oh, that's the one when she's in the field or something.
She's up on a roof and it's a white background and she has her hair up in a ponytail and it's kind of.
I feel like I have seen it,
but it's like real dramatic. I love it. So listen. Shout out to Regina King and congratulations on her Emmy win. So listen.
So do you want to talk about Drag Race? I haven't watched it. I have zero intention of watching it. But if you want to talk about it,
well, I watched it. I mean,
go ahead.
No, I mean it's so listen. It's 5 episodes in already.
I've heard this was the season finale.
Well, they're 5 episodes in. I think the next one is going to be tomorrow. I think it comes on Thursday night.
And what was Coco Montrese doing there?
So okay. So here's the thing.
All I saw was a preview, and I saw the kiss, and Coco Montrese is sort of sitting off to the side.
Okay.
Derek was instigating again. As usual.
Here's the thing. So we talked about the show a little bit, showing how they were talking about the Drag Race Vegas show is a review of the whole season and some of the things that go on during Drag Race and the filming and everything else. So they have these little skits and all the contestants coming out or them coming out as contestants and doing their entrances and then doing little numbers or whatever. Right. And that's kind of how the whole show is set up. They were doing it like 5 days a week or whatever. And they were talking about the preparation of it. And they're also talking about their lives outside of the show. Mm-hmm. So of course, just like with Drag Race, there's always drama behind the scenes.
Yeah.
One drama involved Derek Barry and one of his husbands because he's in a throuple, and this particular husband does drag and had words with Naomi as well. Naomi Smalls on the show. And so then that became a thing because Derek was then instigating that with Naomi and her husband. And then Derek Barry is getting involved in other shit that's going on. And she wound up trying to get Vanjie to go out on a date and take her out to Charlie's to go to a restaurant and to go do other things. Then Derek and Asia had words about something that Naomi said to her, and like it's all over the place because there's just drama everywhere. But it's interesting and it's cute, and I actually enjoy it. And the last show that I watched, episode 5, it shows the possible budding or the starting of something between Cameron Michaels and Vanjie. So it's cute, but Coco Montrese is actually on the show because she is an alternate for Derek Barry. So if something happens to Derek Barry on the show, she's going to step right into her shoes.
Maybe she's going to pull up Naomi and throw some pearls.
Listen, so that's why she's on the show. And so they kind of brought her out, and she was just
they're not even the same kind of person or do the same sort of drag.
Well, but you know,
I mean, they're both Vegas showgirls. So
yeah, I mean, so that's why she's there. That's why she was even on the show. Yeah. So that's where we are. So,
You know, I've already said my opinion about it. It's like I am fine with the drama on Drag Race because the drama is I could see the heat of the competition and all of that. Yeah. But there is no competition here. These are just hoes that you work with. True. And I would not put up with that kind of drama with hoes that I work with because I would be like, girl, we're here to get these coins and only to get these coins. You need to learn your lines. You need to be on whatever.
That's not even the issue. All the issues have been coming off stage.
Yeah, and I would just be like, yeah, girl, I'm not hanging out with you hoes.
Yeah, I mean, like it's all the issues have been coming.
Back to my
you know, they all have their own lives and shit going on. So Vanjie's trying to find love. Cameron broke up with her boyfriend on the show.
To me, that's messy. I wouldn't even be trying to date nobody that I work with because if the shit don't work out, then that's a whole level.
That's
of
a conversation that Cameron was having, and then Derek has his relationship with this throuple, and Asia is getting ready to get married to her fiance. Evie is on the show, and she's trying to do a music career, and she has a rap coming out, so she did a video. I mean, it just kind of shows all these things that are actually going on. Naomi, they haven't really talked about. They've talked about her because she's been in the midst of stuff because her and Asia have had an argument, but again, it was egged on or instigated by Derek Barry, and so like Derek is just messy, and she's just stirring shit up.
Sort of puts a whole other spin on that shit between him and India.
Yeah, like Derek,
because Derek made it seem like he was little Miss Innocent, and everything in India.
Miss Brittany, you are not that innocent. Right. No, you are not, girl.
India was made to come off as the villain, and maybe that shit between her and Alexis, you know, that's a whole different story. But the shit between her and Derek, I'm seeing a whole different side of Derek Barry. And, you know, it's putting him in a different light.
It is. But then I also, at the same time, I've heard several things about India Farah as well. Mm-hmm. So between that situation, I'm not necessarily sure, but I think that India is not necessarily, she ain't squeaky clean either. So, no. But,
you know, speaking of Drag Race, there's a new promo out where not all, but several of the Black queens from Drag Race, because, you know, they've been receiving races, whatever. But I'm just like,
as well.
Yeah. And I'm just like, you know, it says a lot that only very recently, has the Black star of this show, whose name is on it, came out and spoke of this issue. I mean, I've been falling out of love with RuPaul as a personality for a long time, and I really only watched it because I'm still interested in the queens.
It's not about
and whatever. It's like at this point, I mean, nothing. I mean, RuPaul wear the same fucking silhouette every fucking week.
It's the McCall's pattern 823.
Right. I mean, you know, I get that. You know, you find something that works for you, but girl, you can't literally wear the same fucking thing. I mean, you know, okay, girl, we get it. You love blonde hair. You know, so I mean, I'm over her, and you know, so. I mean, I don't know. I'm just starting to be over it.
Listen, we gonna work with it. It's interesting. She provides an avenue for some entertainment for me, so that's where I'm at. But
yeah,
but you know, it is what it is.
And you know, I've never been just a huge fan of reality show altogether. And the more more of this show leans heavily into the because the show's original formula was America's Next Top Model meets
drag.
Well, it's a drag version of America's Top Model versus Project Runway. So and Project Runway had a little bit of drama, but it really was just about, girl, we have too much work to do to make these costume uniforms, these outfits and stuff, to be worried about this interpersonal drama, except ironically for the season that Santino was on, because remember, he didn't get along with that one girl.
There were several people that didn't get along.
But it wasn't to the level of the drama on America's Next Top Model.
Probably.
And the more the show leans into that kind of America's Next Top Model, Real Housewives kind of drama, the less interested in it I am altogether, because I was tuned in for the Project Runway aspect, because I'm tuned into the, oh, okay, here's some, ridiculous ass challenge.
But the fashions were amazing.
They're sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing to watch the construction of it. Like that part was it.
And also, I guess after 12 seasons of the show plus 5 seasons of All Stars, maybe the magic of seeing boys transform into women has been lost, because I knew some drag queens, but I only ever saw them in drag. I either saw them in drag or out of drag. I never saw the process. Yep. So maybe the magic for me is gone from seeing all of that. But that's just me. And, I'm not one of the people that thinks just because I don't like something that other people shouldn't like it. So I'm just telling you that I'm falling out of love with it. But that doesn't require everyone else to. So.
That's true.
All right, so
Lovecraft Country.
Lovecraft.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Yes. We are going to talk about this. So if you haven't seen it, episode 5,
what did you think?
So first of all, I did. As soon as I saw this, I'm just jumping right into it. As soon as I saw these goddamn tentacles, I was like, oh my God, it's a spider! No!
Yes, I thought it was a spider too, but apparently it's a fox.
And I didn't realize that, so I was having a conversation with somebody else. They were like, oh, it's a nine-tailed fox.
Yeah, I watch, or I listen, I read. I use one of my senses. I read this recurring article on The Root called something about Lovecraft Country. So it's like a deep dive into the show every week. And the person who was doing the deep dive is a Black woman who has a PhD in Black horror. Or something to that extent. So she understands all of the symbology and she knows about Lovecraft. And so she takes you on a deep dive into that. And so the title, Meet Me in Daegu, is a takeoff of the title Meet Me in St. Louis, which was the movie that she was watching with Judy Garland. And I thought it was funny too.
Clang goes a trolley.
Yeah, is that one? Ding, ding, ding goes the bell. Yeah, so it's that movie. And I thought it was interesting too that this Korean woman, escaped into this purely Caucasian fantasy, but what she was saying, what this woman was saying, is that it repeats a lot of a theme in horror that you see a lot of people of color seeing themselves in these stories when they were either accidentally or purposely left out of the narrative. So remember, she didn't just watch the movie, she fantasized of actually being Judy Garland and living that life. And so that was great. I love the scene when she went to the meeting. That's what they called it, a meeting.
Oh, yeah.
And she was number 31. She had a little number. Basically, it was speed dating.
Right.
And when they do the speed dating, the women all sit there and the dudes rotate. And so she sits down and she repeats something that her girlfriend says. And by girlfriend, I just mean good Judy. But I had the feeling like that good girlfriend would have gotten a taste.
Baby, let me tell you something.
Up to her.
The lesbian tease that was going on.
Yes, it was very...
I was like, come through, Meg.
Yes.
Listen, come through, Megan.
Yes. Epic is finally seeing the picture of Megan Thee Stallion in this beautiful gold thigh-high slit dress.
Fuck that gown. It's that ponytail that's giving me life. The gown is bad too, let me be clear, but it's the pony. Yes!
So that wasn't the only
Okay,
clear thing that I saw in the show. So there was a relationship with her friend, I think, whose name was Young Ha. And so Young Ha was like, well, this is how I get a man. And so she repeated the same thing to the first dude. And the first dude was like, that's a no for me. The second dude was like, because she started talking, so she was like, no, I'm just going to be myself. He started talking about Judy Garland. She was like, because white people are the only colonialists and imperialists. Let's not forget that there is a long and very shameful history of the Japanese going in to Korea and Vietnam and Singapore and imposing their colonial will on the local people.
Yes, indeed.
And so the one dude says, I can't believe that after we just finally got rid of these fucking Japanese colonialists, that you would now get these fucking white colonialists. So he gets an X. Then one dude sits down and she says, I love Judy Garland. And I'm paraphrasing.
Right.
And basically he was like, I love
too.
Judy Garland too.
Yeah, I thought the movie was good.
I thought that was, and they talked for a cute minute.
They did.
And then at the very end, he still X'd her out.
He X'd her out, yep.
I read that as him being gay.
I didn't
think about Friends of Dorothy.
Yeah.
Think about how, less so now, but it was a real thing in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, particularly for, like, if two men were just out, they would just say, hey, are you a friend of Dorothy? But it would just be like a casual thing.
Right.
It wouldn't be like, hey, girl, are you a friend of Dorothy?
Right.
They would say it in like their butchest, most casual thing.
Mm-hmm.
And if he said yes, then that was a secret cue that he was gay. So when he found another woman who was into not necessarily the Wizard of Oz, but into Judy, because it wasn't just about Dorothy in the Wizard of Oz, it was about the larger loving musicals and Dorothy and Judy Garland, but it was really about Judy Garland. They did so.
I can see how that yeah.
But yeah, so like Friends of Dorothy was like a real thing.
Well,
in fact, if you go on a Carnival cruise, they still when we used to be able to go places, they used to have like at 7 p.m. every day the Friends of Dorothy meetup, and that was for the gays.
And that was on NCL as well.
Did they call it the Friends of Dorothy?
On NCL, yeah. That's when it was NCL.
Okay, yeah. So that's like the code. So like straight people might be like, Friends of Dorothy, don't give a fuck. But you know, the gays, particularly gays of a certain age, like young gays might not know, but gays of a certain age would understand what that meant. And I think he X'd her out because
I didn't think about it that way, but yeah.
He X'd her out because it wasn't that he didn't find someone that he could kiki with, but just like she was under pressure from her mother to find a man, if he's gay or if his parents, just like nowadays, if your parents think you're gay, what they always talk about, when you gonna bring home a girlfriend?
Right.
And he couldn't bring home this girl because then even if they tried to pretend or fake something, because that probably wasn't the first time he tried to pretend to fake his way through a relationship or whatever, then he was going to have to fuck her or whatever. And that's, so I think he X'd her out because he was gay. So that's what I thought about.
Hey.
Yeah, that immediately jumped to me because for me, it's like, once you start realizing that everything on the show has, double and triple meanings, any action or anything that happens in the show, you can't just be like, oh, he just didn't like her. There has to be some meaning or some symbolism behind it.
And see, I actually just saw it as him being compassionate and being sympathetic. And then also saying to himself, like, you know what? She seems really nice, but that's not what I'm looking for. Now, the reasons behind it, whether he was gay or not, I didn't even look at it that way, but that's all that I saw.
Then after her failed attempt to get a man through the speed dating, she finally finds some dude who was a cute older, a slightly older gentleman, brings him back, and he starts taking off. She starts taking off her clothes. He was like, "I'm about to fuck this shit up, baby."
Let's be clear. When she went and lit that one candle and all of them lit up,
I'd be like, "I'm out."
Like, I'm out of here, girl. Thank you so much.
Because give me that candle. No, yeah, just pick it up. Yeah. She literally, there was the one candle sitting there. She lit the one candle and all of the other candles in the room.
And it was like
lit up. I'd have been like, oh no, girl, that's witchcraft. Oh, I'd have been like, oh, girl, that's voodoo. I got to go.
That's voodoo. I got to go.
Yeah, I got to go.
I got to go.
But so they're fucking, and he gets his nut, and then these tentacles start coming out of his, and I was like, my immediate thought was, spider, and I was like, please don't let it be a spider. You know, I don't fuck with spiders.
Listen, can we just share? I'm gonna share this, bitch. We went to go see, was that King Kong?
Yes. And that huge, the daddy long legs that was like,
we were sitting in the movie theater together, and bitch, when I say, I don't know who jumped the highest, but bitch, we was both next to each other. It was ridiculous.
I could not.
Oh, it was a lot. It was absolutely a lot.
And so she kills him, and then so I was like, well, what's about to happen now? And then as soon as Uma, because Uma is apparently Korean, one of the Korean words for mother or mother, opened the door, and she was like, you got to bring on 5 more. I was like, oh, well, she down with the okie doke.
Yeah.
So,
listen,
because when she opened the door and wasn't like, bitch, what did you do?
She's like, clean up 1 out 5.
All right. I was like, okay, we down with the okie doke. So come to find out that she didn't have a child out of wedlock. Apparently the husband died. So the girls who was whatever the
Jet? Was it?
No, it wasn't Jet. It was like Jolly or something like that.
Okay.
Her father died, which left her and her mother, and to be a single mother,
right,
particularly in the 50s, with a child, well, single mother implies a child, was a terrible scandal and a sin. So she basically latched onto the first man that she could find to bring some respectability to the family, not knowing that he was a pedophile.
Okay.
So
go ahead, because
so he was sexually assaulting the little girl, and the little girl found she didn't think of it as anything negative. Because she had feelings for him. She loved that man.
So this is the part that I have to go back and I have to go. Well, yes, that is called. Is that Munchausen? That's not Munchausen. That's something else.
It's another thing, but yes, where the abuser latches on to
that develops Stockholm syndrome.
A version of Stockholm syndrome. Yeah. Yes, where someone who was abused latches on and develops some sort of an attachment to the person who's abusing them.
But what wasn't clear to me was, because they were talking about it, the mother and the daughter, and she said, she said something to the effect of like, I'm not your daughter. And she said, well, yes, you are my daughter, because there are little things that you say that only my daughter says, or the way she says it. So for me, I was trying to figure out, did the daughter die and then this thing or demon or whatever was created and eventually going to become her? Or was it that the daughter was possessed by this thing?
That's it. So the Kamiho, who is the 9-tailed fox,
right?
In did you ever end up watching Love, Death, and Robots?
No.
Okay. In one of the tales, there is a 9-tailed fox.
Okay.
There is a Korean story about. So anyway, so a Kamiho is a spirit who can take the form of a woman or be possessed by a woman, but the spirit lives particularly to right the wrongs done to women by men.
Okay. So now that makes sense.
Yes.
Because again, I couldn't figure out whether she had died.
Right.
Or if she was
possessed.
Okay. So she was possessed. Okay.
By this. And because of that, she didn't think that she could be loved or feel love or have any sort of emotional attachment to any other human. But that was already not true, because she already did have at least feelings of love, of familial and friendship.
Wait a minute, Lance.
I mean, she could try it.
Yeah,
I mean,
listen.
I'm gonna put it on the screen.
Don't show up.
Girls,
Do not show up nowhere with no motherfucking. Listen, you keep building that damn. You keep building that damn insectarium you got going on over there,
right?
And all that shit over there out in Lynxville. But goddamn it, you show up anywhere next to me with a goddamn tarantula or some shit, bitch. I am stomping the shit out of whatever is near me. I'm telling you that right now.
Right.
So this lizard.
Don't try it. Don't try it.
Listen, this lizard.
Don't try it, Peter.
That's on the fence for me as well. But I'm just saying. So that fuck that shit.
Don't try it. Don't get fucked up. So yeah. So at least my understanding, and from what I've read, is that the daughter was still there. She was also just possessed by this spirit, and her mother had told her that she could never be loved, that this was all she could do. But that already wasn't true, because she already at least had feelings of friendship love for that woman.
And so here's the other question. When did this happen? Like was she a little girl and then the spirit overtook her, she became a grown woman? Like, when did this happen?
I don't know, but
because it seems
95 people ago.
Well,
so I don't know how long that took.
Okay.
And so that woman was clearly at least in her very late teens, early 20s.
Okay. Well, yeah. Okay.
So anyway, so then the first time we meet Atticus is when they think that there's a Japanese sympathizer. So they round up all the women, not a Japanese, a communist sympathizer.
Right.
So they round up all of these nurses and says, one of you is a communist sympathizer. And then one of the black dudes just randomly shoots one of the nurses in the head. And so that's supposed to scare the other chicks into doing it. So then the dude comes and is about to shoot. Then Atticus comes in
because he ran out of bullets. He
was about to shoot.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna call her Asian woman.
Yes, the Korean woman who was the star of this episode.
I'm sorry, Korean woman.
The other black dude was about to shoot her, but then the gun jammed, and so they pull Atticus in, and then that's when old girl Young Ha jumps in front of
because she's trying to
save her good Judy, because they've developed a friendship, and was it more? We'll never know at this point. So anyway, so then they drag her away. Mm-hmm. And then so they're all there, but we all know what the fuck happened to her. We all know without whatever. Then cut to old girl turns around in the hospital where she works, and there's Atticus because he's been wounded.
Yep.
And she was like, because she had stopped at 99 people.
Yes. She even told her mother, she's like,
I'm not going to take this last person because this is not who I am. This is not what I want to do with my life. This is not how I want to live, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Then she meets Tick, and she was like, oh, I got your ass.
Yeah.
And so you saw the look on her face. She was like,
she's like I'm going to
get my revenge. I'm going to fuck you up.
Yep.
But they end up falling in love because she sees how the war has fucked him up too. So they are about to get it on for the first time. And at which point Atticus reveals that he's a virgin. And that automatically fucks her up a little bit right there. And she's like,
but baby, that quick sex scene where he's like, wait, who?
Yeah.
I said, oh.
But that was after, so she tells him to get out before the tails start coming out to possess, and take his life or whatever. Then so she comes to the base, and he was like, I don't understand why the fuck, what's going on here with she was like, you killed my best friend.
Right. And
then he was like, then he's like, so that's like a new
curve that was
that was thrown in, and so now they've not moved past it, but she's like, all right. So then they make love, and the foxes come out, and then she sees this premonition, because one of the things we didn't mention is that so basically the 9 tails of the fox come out, and it goes into the ears, it goes to the nose, it goes to the eyes, it goes into the butt, it goes into basically any orifice that you got. And so that's 2, 4, 6, 8, and then
9.
Yes. So it gets him. And So it didn't go into his butt, but covered his eyes and got him. And then when she does that, she's able to see the entire person's life. Like the first dude that she killed, that we saw her kill, he was gonna have. She sees their future.
So that's just it. She saw
that guy's future. Because that guy was single at the time. She saw that he was going, that Japanese or that Korean guy, he was going to get married. He was going to have a couple of kids.
But see, I thought
that
he already did those things.
That's what I thought too. But no, apparently it's just she sees the future.
So that
And then so when she did that to the thing, come and covered his eyes. It didn't go into his penetrated eyes, but it covered his eyes, and that's how she sees the future. She sees everything.
She sees
everything. She sees him as a young boy with the chick that George was dancing with. That we think. Remember, George might actually be Tick's father.
George is Tick's father.
Yeah, that's almost right. I mean, they wouldn't have said it if it hadn't been a thing. So we see that. We see him with Letty. We see him with some other woman. We see him getting a bus ticket. We see him doing a couple other things, and then we see him dying. But clearly he can't die because he's the star of the fucking show. It's not that he can't die; it's he can't stay dead.
Well, yeah.
In some way, shape, form, or fashion,
he might die, but he might come back.
He will be on the show until the end. Because
I'm just saying, right.
This ain't Game of Thrones where they kill off.
I don't know. I mean, it's Lovecraft Country because listen. And H.P. Lovecraft was
No. This is inspired by Lovecraft, but H.P. Lovecraft was a horrible racist.
I get that, and that's part of the way part of the reason why the story is even woven around his stories.
Yes,
because of that. And what I'm saying is, because he was such a terrible racist, it very well could be something that will happen to Tick that will illustrate the racism that Jordan as well as J.J. Abrams are trying to put forward in this whole story.
Right. But I'm saying, yes, I agree that he might die, or that he will likely die because now she's seen the premonition. But somehow he's going to be brought back.
But I also believe that she is going to have a hand in
this isn't the end. Yeah, this isn't the end
or
of that
a part of the story in some way, shape, or form. That she's made a.
They built up this whole thing about what happened to him in Korea.
Yeah, she's
to be a whole thing. And it's funny because they sort of made it seem like she was the villain, but she wasn't the villain at all. Yeah. And remember, even when he called her and she was like, "You're going to die," it wasn't a.
You're right. At least for two seasons.
That's true.
Shut up.
Right, but when she says you're going to die, it was made to sound like she was saying it in like this ominous thing. It was like, "No, girl, I love you, and I'm trying to keep you from dying, and not by my hand." Anyway, so after
but pause 1 second. The young lady that's playing Ji-han or whatever, the Korean woman. She is from, if I remember correctly, MTV Real World, San Diego.
San Diego, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So and she's a great actress as well.
Yes.
So I'm just pointing it out. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, so good for them. And so the story sort of ends when he was like, "What the fuck is that?" So that really is his first exposure to real magic.
Yes.
So that's why he's probably not quite as freaked out when they go and encounter the monsters, when the first monsters, the vampires that they encounter in that cabin, because he already seen a bitch that's got, snakes or whatever tentacles coming out. So he's at least seeing that, and we don't know what else he sees before he leaves the country.
This is true.
Then so
we gonna call her Kilolo. I
can't call this girl Kilolo.
We gonna call her Kilolo for right now because I cannot.
The star and her mother Uma go back to the shaman
Kilolo,
who initially cursed her, and she's like, "What can I do to prevent this from happening?" And she was like, "Nothing."
Yeah, and she's like, the ultimate price is.
Not only you cannot do anything, but you're going to see a ton of more death before you're done here. And so that's sort of how it ended
with Kilolo and her mama at the Kilolo and her mama was at the number lady's house. Mm-hmm.
Anyways,
that's my story.
So I mean, I'm loving the show. I mean, I'm just super into it.
I'm loving the show, and I've resolved myself that I'm going to have to watch the show, absorb it, and then go back and watch each episode again. Yeah, because there are still tons of things. There's other things.
If you read, I'll
missed.
send you the link to the thing on the root.
Please do.
That's how I'm able to talk about it a little bit more in depth, because I watch the episode and I read that. And sometimes it confirms things that I already thought, or, you know, sort of disproves it. But because of the nature of the show, so, you know, all shows have like YouTube reviewers talking about the show. And I watched or watched this white guy, this British guy, in fact, talk about the show. And girl, he did not get any of the shit. It was just the most surface level, you know, whatever.
What do you think will come of George's wife? She has the pages, you know. Listen, Hippolyta, there's a whole series. It's actually going to be the next episode. There's a whole script for her linked. And Hippolyta actually is an Amazon. That was Wonder Woman's. She was the queen of the Amazons.
That's Wonder Woman's mother.
Wonder Woman's mother. Mm-hmm. And so in the previews, they're showing her in this helmet and back in that time. So she's tied to this story as well.
Yeah.
And so the solar system thing, I'm not sure if it's going to help her to go back in time. I'm not sure if it's going to help her to realize.
I think they did say it was a timekeeping device. It was like a time travel.
Yeah. So we don't know what that's going to be.
And if you spin it backwards, maybe you can go backwards.
So maybe we'll see. But
we'll see.
She is definitely a part of it as well. Unfortunately, Uncle George had to die, or his Papa George, whatever I want to call him. He had to die, unfortunately, so that they can make these things, so they can find out the rest of what's going on. Because I think that if he was still alive, his father or his uncle wouldn't have made him discover things the way he's going to have to discover them now.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of it. So I don't know. It's all in all, this is a great show. The writing is amazing. Jordan Peele, J.J. Abrams. This is an amazing show for me. Like, it is one of my favorites.
And I love that the inclusion of the Korean aspect, because there's a whole Korean horror genre out there that, you know, if you were Korean or were more familiar with the Korean culture, you probably would have been able to dive much more deeply into it and understand some of the things. Like the whole idea of the Kamiho and all that, you would have already known about all that.
Yeah, because did Letty give her the solar system from the house?
I think it's at her job.
It's at her job. She took it. I think, did she take it? But anyway, it's at her job because she was talking about it. She was on the phone. Hippolyta was on the phone talking to her father about it, as a matter of fact. And so it's already there at her job. So she may have took it. Anyway, she got it. It's there. So that's where it is.
So are we ready to wrap it up?
So listen, kittens, it is 9:51. We're trying to keep ourselves in some better time frames.
Just a little bit.
So we kind of got a little bit beyond what we normally do. But we're shorter than what we have been lately. So check out these credits and we'll be right back for in about 30 seconds. I'm thinking the backdrop music. Is there music on the?
That doesn't have music. This particular clip, but I can add music to it.
No, I think it doesn't necessarily need to be there, but
the problem with adding music is that adding music fucks up the YouTube thing.
Take it off. No, thank you. Oh, we need to tell them about Bear World Podcast.
Yeah.
So listen, we really, really, really appreciate you guys being here for the show this evening. We have
beautiful green footage.
We've had Lexi is so funny. We had a great week, and something that we almost forgot to tell you guys about. We were fortunate enough to actually be interviewed by one of our Onyx brothers, Golden Eagle, for Bear World Podcast. Yes. And it actually should be coming out, I was told, Friday.
Yes, Friday. And then we'll post links to it.
We'll post some links to it. So be on the lookout for that. And so, that was something we didn't even mention earlier in the week, but earlier about our weeks, but that was something we wanted to definitely mention. And other than that, like I said at the beginning, we really appreciate your guys spending time with us. You could be doing anything, but you're here with us. Hey, I'm grateful. So
Same here. I mean, thank you all for coming out. God bless you and good night.
Yeah.
Mwah.